My block, my city, my hood. I'm doing everything I can, everything I should. Lifting up the people like I promised I would. Cause this is my block, my city, my hood. The real J. Cole got your back in the hood. I walk the streets where the stories breathe, where every crack sidewalk's got something to teach. Kids on the corner wave when I roll through, cause they know I'm out here trying to guide them to the truth. This ain't just pavement, it's the place that raised me. Every brick, every beat, every dream that saved me. So I give back love.
All right, what's up, y'all? It's Jahmal Cole, founder of My Block, My Hood, My City. Welcome to Kitchen Table Discussions Podcast, Episode 1. Pull up a chair, we got a seat for you. We are tapping in right here in North Lawndale, chopping it up with real people in the heart of the west side of Chicago. Let's give it up one time for Chef Melvin of the Soul Food Lounge. Give it up here, everybody in the building. Give it up for Chef Melvin. And that's Chef Melvin, what we eating today, man? What you set on the table for us today?
Today I have a blackened salmon for you guys that's gonna be served with creamed spinach and seared shrimp. I also have some roasted Brussels sprouts gonna be served with a Thai chili glaze and peanuts. And we have a shrimp and grits, so it's kind of on the Creole side for you guys. Kind of all over the place though. So.
Thank you, man. What's the address? What's the address of the restaurant? How can we support?
3804 West 16th Street, Soul Food Lounge West. It's the OG location. Y'all come by, see us.
Let's do it. All right, man. Thank you. And obviously today I'm sitting down with somebody who, for me, just as an activist in Chicago, I've done one panel with you before, and now when I do panels, I always take like something to write with, because you always got something to write with in every panel. I stole that from you. One of the many things, I see you hoop a lot. You look like Zach Randolph out there shooting, bro, with the left. But you have dedicated your life to serving young people. You've been on a national stage, like you're the former Secretary of Education under President Obama, and you're a lifelong Chicagoan, and you're the founder of Chicago Cred. Let's give it up for Arne Duncan, y'all. Give it up for Arne Duncan. All right. Okay, welcome to Kitchen Table. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I'm honored.
Thanks for being, man. This is my first episode of Kitchen Table Discussions, bro. First episode.
Hope it's the first of hundreds.
Thank you, bro. 77 to be exact. So I'm living in a new community in Chicago every month, trying to figure out the assets of the neighborhood and then connecting people to their local power. So I'm going to the laundromat, the liquor stores, the libraries, the farmers markets, talking with the aldermen, the state representatives. I'm talking with everybody about what's good going on in the community. What is there to eat? What positive things are happening? And what I'm noticing is that last month in Chicago Lawn, there was a nonprofit called SWAP on one side of the street that didn't even know another nonprofit was across the street for like 5 years. They didn't even know it existed. And so I'm hoping that by highlighting the assets and uplifting the assets of the neighborhood, I can connect people to actually what's going on in their neighborhood. So I hear you're doing a lot of work in North Lawndale. Can you, I guess my first question to you, bro, is how did you go from like being a basketball player overseas to being the Secretary of Education under President Obama? How did you do that, bro?
Well, there are a few steps in between. First of all, again, I truly am honored to be here. And it's really deep to me that you're visiting all 77 communities, not visiting, living in all 77 communities. I've never heard of anyone in my life doing that. And what you're going to learn and what you're going to experience, you're going to have a PhD, four advanced degrees that nobody else could ever have. And Let's go. You're going to have a level of insight and knowledge that's pretty extraordinary. So
thank you for
it's
saying
a hell of a journey. It's hard to live a different place every month, not easy.
Man.
But it's deep.
You're taking the words, bro. Literally, I've been telling people, I was trying to sound smart, so I was like, the communities are my classrooms, the people are the professors, and the final exams are whatever initiatives are going on that I can volunteer for and uplift throughout that month. So that's kind of what I'm doing is study. I love Chicago, I love eating, I love stories, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna live in all 77. You're ahead of me in that, but I'm just a Chicago boy. Grew up in Hyde Park and lived 2 blocks from where I grew up. And my dad was a University of Chicago professor, so we literally lived on campus. Wow. And my mother, I was born in 64, and my sister in 67, my brother in 70. In 1961, my mother started a tutoring program at 46 in Greenwood. Wow. It was literally 12 blocks from where we lived. We used to walk some days, but it was across the invisible barrier of middle-class integrated Hyde Park, where I was from, and all black, all poor North Kenwood, Oakland.
Okay.
And that was just a formative experience. I was going to her program, obviously, from the time I was born, way before, going after school, way before I went to a regular school.
Wow.
And she did that work for 52 years until she got Alzheimer's, unfortunately, passed. It's a horrific disease.
Sorry, man.
But my sister and brother and I have all tried to follow in her footsteps in various ways. And what I just saw in my life is my friends in the after school were as smart, as hardworking, as committed, as my friends during the school day.
Uh-huh.
They just didn't begin to have the kind of opportunities my friends during the school day have. I always say that talent is everywhere, opportunity is not.
Okay.
And what I've always tried to do, whatever job I've been in, I've tried to bring opportunity to where that talent is.
Okay. Dang. So, well, thank you for sharing that, man. You said and RIP to your mom, man. Obviously, rest in power. But I lived in Hyde Park as well. I was living in the Regions. You know where that's at? Yeah, I lived over there, man. And I interesting enough, I got shot in Hyde Park. Interesting, walking right across. So you remember?
I hate that, but no place is immune. No place is immune.
I lived in Chatham for 20 years. I jogged down 79th Street every day. Nothing ever happened to me. I moved to Hyde Park and within just get right in front of Virtue. They shut all the windows down at Virtue.
I remember when that happened. That was you. I didn't know that was you.
That was unbelievable, bro. But that was the third time that I got shot at in like a year. And so the first time I got shot, I was coming out of a school on 71st and Morgan. And
Which school?
It was Excel Inglewood.
Yep.
Yeah, so I gave a speech there at 12:16, and I came out, I was walking down the street, my sister FaceTimed me, I looked at the FaceTime, I saw a car passing by, and there was a guy bent down, he was bent down in the seat like he was sleeping, and the other guy was driving, and I jumped up, and my sister said, "Why'd you scream like a girl?" And I was like, "I just saw a rat, and I'm scared of mice, so I saw a dead rat." So I jumped up, and my sister said, you scream like a girl, show me the rat. And so I showed her on FaceTime the rat. I bent over to show her, and that's when my White Sox hat flew off my head, and I was on the ground. And my sister on FaceTime was like, ah, she was screaming, and she was like, Jahmal. And the first thing that came to my head was, man, that kid had a great shot. The shot grazed the side of my head and knocked me out. And and the next shots woke me up. And so they shot like 7 more times. And I ran to an alley. I thought I was gonna die. I was like, man, I was like, well, you got shot in your head, you're gonna die. But I developed enough courage to get out from underneath the porch, and I walked out the alley to a barbershop. And and that was the first time. The second time I got shot, I was jogging from Hyde Park to South Shore. I did my 3-mile run. I got right in front of the South Shore Cultural Center, and I looked at my Apple Watch, and something hit my arm. And I was like, dang, I thought like a rock kicked up from the highway, or somebody's tire popped. And I was like, some lady started screaming like, ah. I was like, what's wrong with you? She said, somebody just shot you. I was like, no, that's just rocks kicking up from tires. And because that's what my brain told me it was. Arne, man, I looked at my body and it was all orange. And then when the blood started turning red, then I dove to the ground. Like I had a delayed reaction. And I woke up in the ambulance, and the first thing they told me was, you shouldn't jog over here anymore. Like, I was like, man, if I lived in a Gold Coast, you wouldn't say I shouldn't jog over here anymore. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, man, then I went to the University of Chicago, and they tried to arrest me. Yeah, they was like, who are you? I was like, Jahmal Cole. And they was like, well, you have a warrant out for your arrest. I was like, what? And so my name has an H in it. Yeah. So they spelled my name without an H. And whoever,
JMAL, yeah.
I was already traumatized. So anyway, I tell you that to say the third time I'm walking down the street in Hyde Park, and I'm just walking down 53rd. I got right in front of Virtue Restaurant, and this time, the first 2 times saved my life, because when the shots rang off this time, I knew it wasn't a firecrackers. I knew the reason why I knew what it was is because how scared I was.
Yeah.
When your soul jumps out your body, I was like, oh, they shooting. And that PTSD saved my life, because I dove to the ground. They shot out all the hotel windows, and I'm here to talk about it. But that was 3 times within a couple months, man, and it was traumatic.
Too much. It's too much. You're here for a reason.
Thank God, for a reason. Thank God. But so gun violence, man. So gun violence in Chicago. So I know a lot of work you do with Chicago Cred is to reduce gun violence. And from what I'm hearing, you said that right now in Chicago, we're having we're experiencing the violence is lower than it's been since the 1960s. Yeah. How are you guys going about violence prevention in communities? What are you guys doing in Chicago Cred?
First, I'll give you sort of the backstory. And unfortunately for all of us, we do this work from a place of pain. And I grew up playing basketball on the South and West Sides, and I had a series of older guys who honestly protected me and gave me safe passage in and out of neighborhoods. And I started to lose some of them when I was like 14, 15, 16. And at that point, you don't have a counselor or a therapist, and you just sort of internalize all that loss. And it shapes you and probably honestly scars you in some ways, a little bit difficult to talk about. Then fast forward, I took over Chicago Public Schools when I was 36. So fast forward 16 to 36, fast forward 20 years.
Wow.
Lots I'm proud of. I can come back another episode and tell you all the things we did well.
Right.
But on my watch, on my 7.5 years leading Chicago Public Schools, on average, we had a student killed every 2 weeks due to gun violence. It was a staggering rate of loss. And that was by far the hardest part of my job was, my wife and I had 2 young kids, and meeting families, right after they lost their son or daughter, going to the funerals, going to classrooms with an empty desk and a class of traumatized kids, and trying to make sense of the senseless. And it got harder and harder over time.
Wow.
Showing how not smart I am. When our family moved to DC in '08, I thought violence was at rock bottom. I thought it couldn't get worse in Chicago. In the 7 years we were gone, it got a lot worse for a whole bunch of reasons. And so coming back, I would say we're motivated by our successes, but we're haunted by our failures. I really felt that whoever we consider ourselves to be, adults, educators, community leaders, we fail to keep our kids safe on the South and West sides, and it's never the kids' fault. It's always our fault. So people say you could have done anything, could have gone anywhere. Maybe that's true. All they want to do is come home and try and give kids their childhoods back. I just say we work so kids can play. So we started with 25 guys in one room on the far South side in Roseland. We work with those most acutely at risk of shooting and being shot. We now have 8 sites across the city. We work with men, women, and unfortunately down to 12-year-olds because they're so at risk of shooting and being shot. And just try and surround them with life coaches, with clinical help, get them to high school diplomas, give them a chance to gain some hard job skills, and we work them into the legal economy after about a year with us. So it's the hardest work I've ever done. It's honestly the most heartbreaking. One of my young men here in North Lawndale got killed Monday morning, and so we're dealing with this in real time. I was at his site earlier today. Really tough. We've come a hell of a long way, but we have so far to go. And we just want to make sure people can grow up and not have to look over their shoulders, not have to live with PTSD. And it's we got a long way to go as a city.
I feel like man, God bless you, bro. For real, man. God's got a battery in your back. I see. Salute to you, man. I feel like we've lost some students from North Lawndale as well. I remember one student I taught to, he said, Jahmal, I don't keep a lock on my iPhone. And I was like, well, why not? He said, because if I get killed, I want the police to know how to contact my people. Like, he wasn't thinking about where you're gonna be, 5 years from now. He was thinking about surviving and living day to day,
That's real. That's real.
And Arne, you're a hooper and I'm a hooper. One thing that we're doing at my block in my city is something called Save Street Ball. And I don't want to make this about us. I want to make it about you. I want to let you know, like, some people in Chicago right now feel like basketball courts are magnets for violence. And so to make the neighborhood safer, they're taking the hoops down, right? And like that don't make no sense. It's like, if you want somebody to stop smoking weed at the park bench, like, you're not gonna take away the park bench, you know what I mean? And so that don't make the community safer. You need to give resources. And so what we're doing through the Safe Street Ball initiative is we bought a lot of portable rims, and so people can, we believe 50 to 60 kids per day can, like, have something to do, positive something to do if they can hoop, So we bring portable rims to Austin, we bring portable rims to Roseland and Chatham and Inglewood where people need them and they can request them. And we do that, we buy the rims from Dick's Sporting Goods, leave them there for the weekend. It's called Safe Street Ball. How you feel have you seen that when they put the steering wheel locks on the rims or they take the rims down?
It's so crazy you say this. Literally every court I grew up playing on does not have rims. I only was able to do go to college, go play professionally overseas. I only did that because of park districts and schoolyards. That's how I grew up playing. And there's not a court left, a rim left where this shaped me. And so you're speaking a devastating truth. And if kids don't have something positive to do, what do you expect them to do? And so it's a great thing that you're doing. I'm happy to come out and play a little 1-on-1, 3-on-3, little horse for the kids, whatever.
You out there.
See if they take my lunch money, but that's we still play every morning. I've been playing with a great group of guys for like 30 years. That's my stress relief. I deal with a lot of tough stuff, a lot of trauma, and that's my therapy. And so we're out there. I was out this morning. We're out every morning, still going at it, and that keeps me going.
You was hooping with President Obama, right?
Yes, sir.
You guys
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you won the MVP of like some kind of national. I saw you and Kevin Hart winning.
NBA celebrity All-Star game.
That's amazing, bro.
It was fun.
That's amazing, man. I saw the over the head pass you did. You was dropping dimes. I'm telling you, man, you look like a Rick Sabonis.
No. You can pass a little better than me, but those games are fun. I'll test your basketball skills. In those games, who are the only people who can play?
Oh, I think it was
who could actually play? Who could actually hoop?
The dude that was dribbling a point guard, he was a small singer. What was his name? Was it bro, I don't even know. I was just watching you. To be honest, I was watching a 3-minute highlight clip of you. But I saw who was the point guard y'all had?
I don't even remember. Every rapper wants to be a hooper. Every hooper wants to be a ball player. Comedians, ones that can play WNBA.
Oh yeah,
that's who I love playing with. I love playing the women because they're the real hoopers in those games.
Man,
and so playing with Elena Deladon and Skylar Diggins and all those folks, that's what was fun.
That was fun
because they have game.
Angel Reese out there, she out there.
Yeah,
hooping,
she's a little young for me. I haven't played with her. This is going back a couple of years.
Oh, okay. All right, so Arnie, the current political crisis is very difficult right now in the city, and I'm seeing that ICE agents are like hopping out of cars with like, Mexican flags on them and arresting people. How do you like? What's your take? Like, what's going on? Like, what can we do to help? I feel like what can we do?
Yeah, it's such a devastating time. It's crazy. Like we've gotten, as you said earlier, we've gotten violence. We still have a hell of a long way to go. I'll be very clear about that. This is not mission accomplished. We just had the safest summer in 60 years.
Wow.
We have a chance to have the safest year in 60 years. We're not there yet, but we haven't been below 400 homicides since 1965.
Wow.
I was born in 64, so my whole life, since I was 1 year old, we have not been below 400.
Wow.
It's a big if we can have a safe October, November, December, we will be below 400 homicides for the first time in 60 years. Then we had to go below 300. Then we'll go below 200.
Let's give it up for that, y'all. Let's give it up for that. That's some progress.
And what's really important for your audience to understand, at the same time, violence is down dramatically, arrests are also down.
Okay.
So we're not arresting our way out of this. We're not incarcerating the next generation. When you have fewer arrests and less crime, what does that mean? It means less people are shooting.
Okay.
And that's exactly what we want. So trajectory has never been better.
Okay.
And while we're doing this, and I don't say this easily or lightly, we are under assault by Trump and the federal government. And they want to provoke violence. They want to attack American cities.
Wow.
This is all like a practice run. This is like exhibition games for him because he does not want to have an election next year in 2026.
Wow.
And wants to use the military to do that.
Yeah.
So what's happening, and we have partners all over the city, what's happening in Humboldt Park, in Little Village, Monday night, it was back at 75th and South Shore.
Yeah.
ICE agents coming in 1 a.m, terrorizing folks.
I saw this recently.
Flashbangs.
Yeah.
Terrorizing folks.
Wow.
And who they take out? Some women and babies.
Come on,
women
man.
and children at 1 o'clock.
Wow.
So it is absolutely devastating.
Wow.
We're pushing back as hard as we can. The governor has been fantastic, Governor Pritzker.
Yeah.
The mayor's been great.
Yeah.
The Attorney General, Kwame Raoul, is one of my best friends. We were high school co-captains together, basketball team. We go way back.
Okay.
He's fighting so hard.
Hey.
But everything is at risk here. And the fact that now I'm not just worried about violence in the streets, I'm worried about violence perpetuated by our own government.
Lord.
I can't tell you how disastrous that is. And obviously having served at the federal level, to see the perversion of what's happening now and the attack on democracy and the attack on our families. But it's snatching babies, snatching the tortilla lady, snatching women who are working hard every day.
Man.
These aren't criminals, and this is just an assault on urban America, on blue cities.
Come on, man.
And it's incredibly devastating. So people are scared. People don't know what. And I'll be honest, in my work every day, I'm dead on. I'm scared every day. I worry about getting home every night. But I always say it's not. So it's not like we're macho or I'm not macho. It's just, what do we do with that fear? And I'm sure you feel that fear. So you either let fear paralyze you, you let fear make you go and run and hide under a rock, or fear can motivate you. Fear can make you work smarter. Fear can make you work harder.
Yeah.
So we've pushed back great on National Guard so far.
Okay.
They still might come, but ICE is wreaking havoc on our most vulnerable citizens.
Wow.
And we have to do everything we can to challenge that collectively. And it can't just be, those churches, those communities. It's got to be the philanthropic community. It's got to be the business community. As a city, we got to stand behind all of our hardworking, folks that make our communities what they are, the greatness that you're seeing.
Yeah.
And it's so devastating to see what's happening.
You gave me chills speaking right now. I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, you should run for president, man. You got the qualifications. You started your Cred out of Chicago jail, the Cook County jail, and you have the experience, but also, man, like you just tapped into the community. You gave me chills when you were talking because you sympathetically understand the issues. And I think a lot of people are just talking out the side of their necks, and they have never actually, walked the streets of North Lawndale, or they've never actually been to, walk down the street on 79th. So yeah, man, you gave me chills when you're talking. As far as the violence in Chicago, have you ever heard of Desmond Tutu analogy about the babies in the river? I'm gonna tell it real quick because I want to get your take on it. And so I learned this from Professor Ray Legler at National Louis University. And he was telling me that this is the way I heard it in my head. There's a guy walking down by the Chicago River. Yeah. He sees a baby drowning. He jumps in the river, pulls the baby out, right? He sees another baby drowning in the river. He runs to the river, jumps, pulls another baby out. He looks at his friend and says, "Friend, help me. Yeah. Can you help me pull these babies out of the river?" And his friend says, "No, man, I'm not about to jump in the river and help you. I'm gonna go upstream and see who's throwing these babies in the river."
Yeah.
And so I felt like this summer with those the proposed situational curfews, I felt like the city of Chicago wasn't really trying to prevent babies from going in the river. They weren't even trying to pull them out. They were trying to reroute the whole river through downtown with this not in my backyard type of ordinance. But my organization and yours, so my organization, we're going upstream every day to prevent babies from going in the river, to prevent them from picking up guns, to prevent them from going to jail. So we're doing violence, like primary prevention work. I feel like it takes us all obviously get in the game, but you guys are doing prevention from retaliation almost. It feels like how do I feel like there's no money for actually taking kids on exposure trips in Chicago, but there is money for what do you say to that, man?
Well, these are so good, such good questions. You got me thinking. So we have to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. So what we at Cred do, we focus on those most acutely at risk of shooting and being shot. So we're at the tip of the spear.
Okay.
And my epiphany was that if you wanted to stop shooting, you had to work with shooters. Like you had to work who's shooting and being shot. You know, the victim, the perpetrator is really the same person. It's always the same person. Having said that, we have to do so much more downstream. Like I want us to be out of the business at some point. And so you're doing, like I always say, if I had one more tax dollar, I'd put it in high quality pre-K. Like that's the best thing we do is get our babies off to a good start.
Wow.
So if you and others are working with 8 and 10 and 12 and 15-year-olds, I said, we're down to 12-year-olds now, which I hate. It breaks my heart. But that's who's shooting and being shot.
We had
a young guy the other day, nicest kid, shook hands, looked me in the eye. I'm like, why is he with us? Why are we babysitting him? They show me his social media, gun's bigger than him.
Yeah, bro.
I'm like, man.
They in the jail right now.
So that's what we have to do. But yes, we have to work in the crisis space, which is us. But yes, we need you and so many others helping those babies not get caught in these cycles, preventing them from coming our way. And if we could do both that, then we'll see the kind of dramatic reductions, the exponential reductions in violence that we have here in Chicago. But if we're just continuing to get more and more young people coming to us at Cred, that's not what the city wants. That's not what young people want. And if we can have them avoid that trauma, have some positive outlets, have some sports, have some mentors, have some role models. That's what's going to make our city, our goal is to have Chicago be the safest big city in America.
Let's go.
The only way we get there, yes, in the crisis space where we are, but absolutely in the prevention space where you and others are working. We need both.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. That's amazing. I was, we've been working at Collins Academy in North Lawndale for the last 10 years, and Miss Sharp is like, that's like my mom almost, I started working with Young Men's Educational Network in North Lawndale and Cliff Nellis, North Lawndale.
LCLC.
Like when I was 15 years ago, man, I was just volunteering at Cook County Jail and asking kids where they're from. They're like, North Lawndale. And I showed up at Wyman with Mike and I said, hey, I want to take some kids to Greektown. I had all these My Block, My Hood. He was like, yo, I believe in you. And that was my first trip, taking kids from North Lawndale to the National Hellenic Museum, the Athena Greek restaurant. And I realized that a lot of kids that I brought downtown had never been on an elevator. They never waited for a taxi before. They saw Lake Michigan and they was like, what ocean is that, right? So for us, we believe that exposure is violence prevention. And if I ask one of the kids in my program, I can say, hey man, what'd you do this weekend? What'd you do? They'd be like, man, I had a great weekend, bro. I ate some good food. I danced a little bit. What'd you do? They're like, did you go to a family reunion? They'd be like, no, I went to Leaks on 79th. It was the best funeral I ever went to. You know what I mean? Like these kids been to 15 funerals by the time they're in 9th grade. And so I'm gonna take you up on the offer, man. My Block, My Hood, My City is gonna do our best to put Cred out of business. So we gotta really
sooner the better, boy. I'd have a less gray hair. No. I'm so serious on it. And that exposure piece is huge. And what we do, that the holiday weekends are always are all super violent. Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day. So what we do now is we take our guys actually all over the country. We go to New York, we go to LA, we go to Memphis, we go to New Orleans, and we do exposure to the community, some history there, and some community service.
Wow.
And I'll never forget, going down to Montgomery, Alabama, which is like the heart of slavery, our young guys saying, we feel much safer here than we do in Chicago.
Wow.
And that's real. Wow. They don't have to look over there. And I'm like, man, how far have we fallen that the heart of slavery is somehow a safer place than their block and their hood and their neighborhood. And so that exposure, getting people out, these are transformative trips just to see the big world out there. We took guys to build a school in Rwanda and just to experience that. It's life changing. And you can see things and learn things and do things outside the neighborhood that you can't do there, but you got to bring it back. You got to bring it back. It's got to translate. But those trips are incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful.
It changes your whole perspective, and I feel like sometimes a lot of kids are always like, I'm in poverty, Jahmal. I'm like, man, you wearing Jordans.
Yeah,
I feel like poverty in Chicago can be upper class in like Lawndale Township in South Africa where I'm from. You know, it's just different. But
Do you want to have Chef Milben
yeah, it'd be great.
and talk about it?
All right.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Does he got a mic? Let's see.
Yeah.
That look good, man.
Thank you.
Real.
All right, I'm coming around. First off, man, it's a pleasure to serve you guys.
Hey, well, thank you, bro. Thank you for doing it such short notice.
Arne, I've actually been a fan for a while. And once I seen you in the celebrity game, I'm like, this guy's like coolest dude ever. I remember seeing your name on my report card first. That's what I remember.
I was all A's, no C's and D's.
I mean, I was a pretty great student, bro.
Where'd you go?
Pretty great. I went to Westinghouse and I went to Mason Elementary.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
West Side, man.
you know it.
Yeah.
Today for you guys, I have a blackened salmon. It's over a bed of white rice and served
Man.
with cream spinach and shrimp. And here I have some honey Brussels sprouts served with Thai chili, sweet mayo, and peanuts. So I hope
Thank
you
you.
guys enjoy, man. Like I say, it's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
bro.
Appreciate
Keep
you,
up the great
bro.
work. So appreciate
Thank
it.
you,
Thank you.
brother.
Thank you.
We get that. So Arne, Chicago Cred works with people that are at risk of being shot or shooters. Like, what have they taught you about what safety looks like?
That's the heart of our work, is like, how do we reduce risk every day, and how do we create a sense of safety, both for the individual, but also for the families,
Okay.
and then more broadly for the community. And we learned through innovation and genius, and unfortunately we learned through tragedy as well. And we've had lots of lessons on both sides of that.
Wow.
So the heart of our work is always going to be individual transformation, people putting down the guns, changing their lives, getting some skills, healing from trauma.
Yeah.
And that's as amazing and super powerful.
Uh-huh.
But if you were doing those things and your neighborhood isn't getting safer, we might actually be increasing your risk. And we've had people who've gone through that transition who tragically have still been shot, and some have been killed because the neighborhood is still at war.
Man.
And so what we're doing here in North Lawndale is not just working at our 3 sites, we're working with a number of partners, UCAN and others, a firehouse, to try and reach a critical mass of young folks.
Yeah.
So then the violence goes down. We call it neighborhood violence suppression. And you know, in North Lawndale, there are honestly more than 30 little cliques. They're not, gangs anymore. These are cliques, little groups of guys.
Yeah.
Sometimes at war, sometimes at peace change, we try and put in place non-aggression agreements and peace treaties.
Yeah.
And so to get safety, what I always ask, not just our guys, but when I'm out on blocks, if there are kids on the block riding their bike, then that block is getting safer. If you don't see any kids, if you don't see anyone out there that doesn't have to be, that block is not safe yet.
Yeah.
And so having people take the steps themselves in terms of reducing their risk online, because social media drives so much of this.
See that, yeah.
Making some different decisions, learning how to self-differentiate.
Wow.
But ultimately, it's about neighborhood violence suppression.
Yeah.
North Lawndale this year is down more than 40% in violence. It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary work.
That's amazing, bro.
Again, not there yet. Like I said earlier,
Yeah.
we suffered a loss literally Monday morning.
Lord.
But
I lost one of my students in North Lawndale, JJ, last year. And he was, I knew him since 14. And let's say somebody shot him through the kitchen. But I took him to Traverse City, Michigan. And when he got out there, he didn't have to look over his shoulder.
Right,
He said,
same thing.
We took him, all they want to eat is McDonald's. He's like, they got the real beef out here.
Right.
So what do we got in the McDonald's in Chicago, But just to see him able to canoe and able to play basketball without looking over his shoulder was amazing. He was free. Arne, I wanted to ask you, man, I see that sometimes the city of Chicago is touting the I guess you would say the homicide numbers. So they say, I was reading a mayoral report maybe like 6 years ago, and it said that using a city's homicide rate is not a good reflection of success or failure at reducing gun violence because the geography of every city is different. So it said that what's effective at reducing gun violence in DC is not going to be as effective. The tactics aren't going to be effective in Chicago because the geography is different. But then in Chicago, just like the geography of every city is different, the geography of every neighborhood is different. And so a domestic violence dispute that ends up in a homicide in Lakeview is not the same as a drive-by shooting in Auburn Gresham. So when you say that, there's 1,500 homicides and now there's 1,250 this year, like using the total number of homicide isn't the best way. So what I'm learning is that the best thing to do is invest in individual programs within communities and seeing if they should expand to broader strategies. And I want to thank you because as an activist early on, you might not even remember this, but you bought like 100 of my Block, My Hood, My City hats. And I didn't have nothing. And you was like, I love what you're doing. And you bought 100 My Block, My Hood, My City hats. And it was doing things like that. I remember Father Fledger was so helpful to me back in the day. Just people that I remember that were helping me make more. It was like an ecosystem for change. I just want to thank you for that. But how do you feel about? Do you feel better when you see that there's? I mean, I guess it does feel better to know there's less homicides. But what more could we be doing? So.
Yeah. So first of all, we all got our strengths and weaknesses. One thing I learned this from the streets was how to read character. And you and I don't know each other well, but I know your character. I can read you pretty well. And so happy to buy 100 hats. We should have bought 500. That's all we can do.
Thank you,
and,
bro.
you know, we need to invest in each other, in all of us. And having young leaders like you emerge and serve more and be able to do more, that's amazing. That's what this is about. And so thrilled to see your growth over the past 10 years, and you can only imagine next 10 years what you're going to do to take our city to a different place. I mean, there are lots of different measures, but ultimately I do pay a lot of attention to how many homicides. We break it down by neighborhood, so I can tell you for every, North Lawndale, a little bit, I can tell you for every neighborhood what we're doing. And it's not just homicides, it's shootings. Unfortunately, you've lived this, that, you can get shot once and die. We have one young man, he was shot 33 times and he's still alive.
Lord.
And so you have to drive down homicides and shootings.
Got you.
And if the number of shootings are going down and the homicides are going down, then you're making progress.
Okay.
And I always feel these are numbers, it's data, they tell you some things. These are real people's lives. This is your life. This is other people's lives. The amount of trauma, the ripple effects of every shooting are extraordinary.
Yeah.
And so the numbers tell part of the story, but the human piece of it is as important, if not more important. But I am absolutely holding us and us accountable. Where's North Lawndale today? Where's it next year? We're where we took 3 years from now.
Yeah.
We're in Roseland, West Pullman, Pullman.
Yeah.
Same thing. And we all have to hold ourselves accountable collectively for driving down these numbers.
Thank you, bro. I think it's only been one or two more questions, but it's a part of the episode I just thought about now. It's Chef's question, because Chef is from North Lawndale. Melvin, you got a question for Arne Duncan? He's a resident of North Lawndale, obviously lifelong person from North Lawndale. Any questions you would have? I'm putting him on the spot right now, but just thought about this. And then also Misty, I want to get her a question because she lives in North Lawndale too, from my team.
All right, my question would be, seeing that you're like the education guru, right? What do you think has been the biggest downfall in Chicago's education system since you weren't Obama's guy anymore?
Yeah, first I just want to congratulate you on your success, and not to give you some homework, but we have 3 sites out here. I'd love you to come out any day and tell your story to our guys. They get sick of hearing from me. Then we have an employment and training center where our guys from South and West Sides, our women, they all come to on 37th Street. We got a lot of folks that are interested in cooking.
Is that the Chicago Cred site?
Yeah.
So I was involved with Cred a while ago through my community center, Firehouse Chicago.
Pastor Phil.
Phil Jackson's been my lifelong mentor.
That's my boy,
He's been my lifelong mentor.
He's amazing.
Known the guy since I was 9 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
he's good people. He's part of the network. He's part of the ecosystem here in North Lawndale and doing, you know his heart, you know what he's doing.
Yeah.
But anytime, whenever you have free time, love to have you come out and tell your story. All of our guys want to be entrepreneurs. They own their own businesses. Many are interested in cooking. And so when you have some time, we'll have you come out. But to try and answer your question, there's so many challenges on the education side. There's a lack. I always see education, it is not cheap, but I always see education as an investment, not an expense. And I would say if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. And when we deal, when you don't have education, then you have the dropouts, then you have the incarceration, then you have the shootings, then you have the teenage pregnancy, everything else. And so the best thing we could do would be here in Chicago and across the country, better invest in our young people. And so I always start, like I did earlier, high quality pre-K, giving that to every child so they enter kindergarten ready academically, socially, and emotionally, making sure kids are reading, on grade level by 3rd grade. It's so interesting with my guys that I work with now. I thought like basketball would be a great connection. Some of them grew up playing, but honestly, most of them didn't. They grew up in the streets. They didn't have a coach. They didn't have a mentor. And the things that basketball did for me and did for you, they didn't have. And so for me, if every young person, middle school, high school, whether it's sports, I don't care, drama, dance, academic decathlon, robotics, yearbook, whatever it might be, financial literacy, entrepreneurship, every young person in Chicago should have an extracurricular that motivates them to come to school, because our dropout rate is too high. I always say, I didn't go to school in February when it was a snowstorm because I love biology. I went to school because I wanted to play the basketball team, and to do that, you got to go to school. And so if there are ways that we could better give every young person and let them find their passion, find their interest. It's not about going pro, about doing whatever. It's just giving them and engaging them in school, giving them a tie to it, and having more mentors in their life. So those are the things I would love to see Chicago and every urban district around the country do. The final thing is I'd let the high school graduation diploma. That's really, really important, but I think it's insufficient. I think everyone should graduate with a diploma, but also either some college credit in their back pocket or industry certification if they want to go to work. And so the high school diploma is an important starting place, but for me, get them some college credit, early college, AP classes, dual enrollment, whatever, or get them industry certification and whatever young people want to do. So those are changes I would love to see us make here in the city.
And I was touring Malcolm X College the other day, and they have a lot of EMT, healthcare, So, and I heard that if you have over a 3.0, you can go to the city colleges for free in Chicago. So, I know a lot of times our kids are choosing colleges based upon are they on ESPN or what famous people go. But if we can learn how to match the skills they have with what the universities offer, instead of them choosing colleges by big names, I think they'll persist more through college. So we're trying to work in my block and in my city on how can we build a pipeline with our 150 students and get them to go to city colleges of Chicago instead of going. I feel like sometimes a 4.0 in a high school out here is not even a 2.5 in University of South Carolina because it's not the same kind of environment. And so I don't want to see our kids, drop out after a year one. I want to see them persist through college. And so
that's the whole thing. Again, high school graduation is key. And to your point, yes, it's great to go to college, but that is not the goal. And if you go to college and don't graduate, debt without degree, that's like the worst spot. So your whole thing has to be completion, not going. It's getting that college diploma at the back end. And so whether it's a 4-year, whether it's a 2-year, Chicago, downstate, East Coast, West Coast, every kid's story is different. Every family situation is different. Some should absolutely stay here. Some it's frankly safer for them to get out. And so I think our job is to give them 3, 4, 5 great options and let them figure out what the best option for them is, and then continue to mentor them so they go. And you could be the smartest kid, and if you're a first-generation college goer, if you don't have a family member that's been before, that imposter syndrome is real, and thinking I don't belong is real. So how we continue that support, not just to get them on campus, but to get them through the back end.
Okay, thank you. And I want to give it up for Missy, our newest team member, y'all. Give it up to Missy. So she's a block club captain in North Lawndale. I'm gonna put her on the spot. Missy, you got any questions you want to ask?
Yeah, my question wouldn't be exclusive to North Lawndale. It's more of a broader question. But you spoke about needing to reach the kids before they get to you, which I feel like is very, very important, and kind of what I try to focus on as well too. I know I say some things like be the person that you want to see growing up or needed growing up. What would be your piece of advice that I or anybody else hearing this can take on to take to other community members, like what should we be doing to kind of help this before it gets to a certain point? What would be your piece of advice for folks?
That's a great question. So important. So I would love to find some fantastic tech solution to violence. I don't know what it is. I'm not that smart. I don't know what AI. For me, I just believe relationships change lives. Relationships change my lives. People help me. And so to answer the question directly, the most important thing we can do is when our young kids, 9, 10, 11, 12, maybe mom is having some, challenges, maybe dad isn't around. And when that happens, someone's gonna raise, it's not a lack of role models. There's always a role model, just whether that's the role model we want or not. And if we can find those kids who need that extra support and provide them with the authentic role models to be in their life from that early age and show them what's possible. And for me, it's so important. You can't preach stuff and not walk it. Like our kids are, they'll smell a phony a mile away.
Absolutely.
So you can't say stop carrying a gun if you're carrying a gun. You can't say treat women respectfully and you're treating women disrespectfully. You can't tell them to not get high if you're getting high. So we're all struggle, we're all imperfect, but getting folks that really are going to believe in young people and stay with them for the long haul and be there for them. And I ask our guys all the time, like, when did you jump off the porch? When did you get caught in the streets? And every guy's story is different. I don't ever like to generalize, but 12, 13, 14, my youngest was 9. And they said, I got tired of hearing my mother cry. I got tired of not being able to pay the bills, and I had to go do what I had to do. You think about it, if you're 9 years old and have to make money, who's hiring? There's only one person hiring. There's only one person. So I say, I've learned so much that I don't judge anymore. Like he made a choice to take care of his family. I was the eldest of 3, younger brother and sister. I had a roof over my head. I had food. I had clothing. I didn't have to make that choice. But how we get to our young kids who don't have that positive support, find them a mentor, find them a model, role model, stay with them for the long haul. That's the key to all of this. And if we could do that systematically, that would change everything. That would change everything.
Bro, you're speaking the truth, bro. Because when I think back, why I started volunteering at Cook County Jail was because I remember breaking into houses at 9 years old. Like I remember like the first time I ever ate lasagna was on a break-in. And I remember like going to the refrigerator and seeing it and cutting something out. I microwaved it and I took a bite and I said, this is what it tastes like to be rich. Right?
That's crazy. That's a crazy story.
That's for real, man. And then I went on to I learned it from my dad because we was homeless. And so my dad was still out of Jewel Osco. He'd go in and he'd steal some he'd always give me an orange juice. Like, get this orange juice in your system, right? And he'd get some hot dogs, him an Old English 800. And he'd come out to the parking lot and he'd be like, I'd say, man, Dad, thank you for stealing me this food. I'm really appreciative. And he'd look at me like, steal? Son, I never stole nothing a day in my life. You stole it from Africa. And so I didn't understand so I started breaking into, the first time I got caught stealing was at Jewel. And I got caught, I was 11 and they took me to jail. I got caught stealing a protractor and a trapper keeper, right?
And trying to go to school.
And my dad, he pulled up to the jail, let my son out of jail. He gonna be a senator one day. He the only kid in North Chicago that's ever sold school supplies before. And he took me to McDonald's afterwards. I was just watching what my dad was doing. But the reason why I started volunteering at Cook County Jail after college was because I remember when I used to think like the kids there. I didn't even know what a nonprofit was. I was just volunteering at the jail because I saw Malcolm X I saw Denzel Washington speaking at the jail. So I was like, that's what I wanted. I saw Barack Obama. I saw him at the Bud Billiken parade. And I was like, I want to be like that. And that inspired me to go to the jail and volunteer. And that's when I realized, man, that I felt useful. And that sense of usefulness has sustained me for so many years in this nonprofit sector, just feeling useful, helping kids out. But man, thank you for being the first guest on the episode. I'll be remiss in not giving Bintu or Ashley an opportunity to ask a question. You guys got anything you want to say? Because I want to, about to wrap up.
I do have a question. So you've been doing like this work for 2-3 decades. How do you how do you take a break from like all of the secondhand trauma that you hear about or that you see from kids? Like you just said, you talk to a 9-year-old. Like at 9-year-olds shouldn't be experiencing what they're experiencing. So how do you like take a step back and still, keep your ears to the street, keep your hands involved in everything?
That's a deep question. I'm trying to break me down here. So, that's a hard one. Like I said earlier, this is honestly the hardest work I've ever done. It's the most traumatic, the most fear for myself, my team, my participants. It's not easy. What I've come to understand, I think about it a lot. First of all, we have an amazing team. I don't like the term self-care because it puts all the onus on you. We all got to take care of each other, and our team is unbelievable. We laugh together, we cry together, we grieve together, we push each other, and that absent them, I couldn't do it. What I've really come to understand, most of our days are like extraordinary, like just seeing the progress every day, seeing the transformation, that's what keeps me going.
Got you.
We have too many heartbreaking days, but the vast majority of days are unbelievable. And that like, I'm not hopeful in something not seen. I'm hopeful in what I see every day. Like I have proof every day of what our young people are capable of, and their ability for transformation is amazing. And this is a little deep, but I've thought about a lot that I think I get to see the best of humanity, to see the transformation, to see the change, to see the leadership, to see young people who may have been part of the problem become a huge part of the solution and lead in a different way. And what I've come to understand that for me to have the privilege of seeing and trying to help shape the best of humanity, I also have to see the worst of humanity. And it's a hell of a price to pay, but if you're not willing to pay that price, you don't get to see the best.
Wow.
And so that's a price. I'm not happy about paying that price, but that's the price I think we all have to pay to see what humanity is capable of.
Gotcha.
And so it's a deep one. It's a hard one. But that's how I've come to sort of understand it. And then just trying to I said I hoop every morning. That's my
Therapy.
part of my therapy.
Yeah.
I do counseling every month now. I never did therapy my whole life. For
Wow.
me, working through that trauma is just really, really important.
Yeah.
And trying to build trauma impacts us all. Do you try and build positive habits of resilience, or you do things that are destructive for yourself or destructive for others? And that you see that response to trauma as well. And so I try and be very, very intentional about building habits that are healthy for me and healthy for the people around me.
Thank you. We got one last question. Ash, you got anything?
I would just, I guess, I'm assuming you're like a well-traveled person, given your career path. But what do you see define Chicagoans as people that are? It seems like they're good community, but what defines a good Chicagoan or a Chicagoan in general? I want to ask.
Yeah, I mean, this city breaks my heart too many days, but I love the city more than I can tell you. And I'm so happy and so proud to come back. And every opportunity I've had all my life, educationally, athletically, socially, culturally, to go play basketball in Australia, to go to the White House. The only reason I had those opportunities was because people poured into me in Chicago. That's the only way I had those chances. So I'm ride or die with Chicago. Chicago against the world. That's my mentality. And there's so many good people here, good adults, good teens, good kids. And yes, we have some massive challenges we have to work through, and trauma and hurt and anger and that's all real. But I wouldn't be pouring my heart and soul into this every day if I didn't really believe in the goodness and what we could accomplish together. And so I'm incredibly proud to be from this city, incredibly grateful. And I truly believe our best days are ahead of us. And if we can go from being the most violent big city in America, 6 times more violent than New York, 4 times more violent than LA, if we can become the safest big city in America, that's the gift we're going to give to the next generation of kids. We're going to make history here. And it's going to be you and me and all, hundreds and hundreds of other partners across the city.
Wow.
That's the opportunity here. So I couldn't be more happy and more honored to have the chance. We're trying to make history.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced we can do it in the next couple of years.
Well, y'all heard it here. Y'all give it up for Arne Duncan. Y'all heard it here. Hey, man, it's truly an honor. Thank you for pulling up a chair to Kitchen Table Discussion Podcast, episode 1. It is, man, I feel so blessed that you were the first guest on the show. Give it up for Chef Melvin, y'all.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna tear into this a little bit later. We really appreciate it, man. But I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
You
man.
play good Oprah on TV.
This is my block, my city, my hood.